Welcome, everybody. We are so excited to launch our first episode and welcome you all into the space with us. We are here to stir up conversations that are bold, mystical, and unapologetically ours. Every brew, we will start with an intention or an affirmation. So here is today's.
Today's intention is to be present, open, and create a space of joy and connection.
Yes, this is our very first gathering. We are preparing all the elements. So just to let you know, I am Mut Nekbet Nefer Tati Ra,
I am Mutetaru Batiba.
And I am Harit Tayamwachi.
and we are Witch Hours. So let's set the table.
Two. When we speak about setting the table, we are creating a sacred space for our community, for ourselves, and for our families. So absolutely pull up your chair. Set your intentions, set your expectation for wisdom, for rituals, for brewing. Set your table for truth, for rituals, for wisdom, for sisterhood, for authenticity. We are sharing our stories, our truth in this sacred space, and we would like to invite you to share your story, share your truth. This is a sacred space for joy, for wellness, for community. And some days will be joyful, deep conversations. Some days will be soulful, deep, transformational. Other days will be witty, joyful. And as we come and set the table and set this space, we would like to invite you to share your truth as we share our truth. So if there's any questions, any comments, feel free to reach out to us, leave it in the chat, leave it in the comments. This is a completely open environment of sisterhood as we come together. We are so full of gratitude, like gratitude for this space, gratitude for sharing this sacred time together, being a community. We are stirring up spots, this sacred space for remembrance, for bringing back our ritual, bringing back the ancestors, and remembering that they live within us, remembering who we were last lifetimes, bringing everything together and cultivating this sacred space so that we can move forward with being our authentic selves. So this is about authenticity, bringing that sacred ritual, bringing our spirituality into one and owning it and cultivating it all together as one, truthfully. So thank you so much for joining us. And how did we get here? Like, how did we get here? How did we get to which hour?
That's funny, right? How did we get here? We got here, I like to call it from good girlfriend conversation,
Mm-hmm.
right? We are all sisters. We are connected spiritually. But what does that mean? We are connected, right? We are connected with you. You are connected with us. But we have a good time in our
Yeah.
spiritual community. I always found that, like, right before we start any type of ritual, community, spiritual session, healing, meeting, it was always a vibe where we were taking these ancient knowledge that we were learning as Kemetic priestesses.
Ooh.
And we would take that knowledge that was hidden and start talking about it amongst us, how we are living it, right?
Mm.
Taking that sacred knowledge.
Mhm.
Heteru, you talked about our ancestors. So taking that deep information that runs through our veins and how we will be applying it to our lives in real time. And what does it look like? Because sometimes the text can get heavy. Sometimes the words will
Mhm.
be so archaic, but their meaning still had vibrancy in what we were doing in
Mhm.
our personal lives, and just seeing how we each grew
Ooh.
and others grow and our families blossom and we blossom, right? And it's like, what does that look like?
What does it
You
look
know,
like?
what does it look like? Building community and taking sacred wisdom from sacred women, from women who were sharing knowledge that only may have gone by word of mouth, knowledge that may have only given by life and life experiences,
Mhm.
and understanding that it's our knowledge and it's ours to share.
Mhm.
God.
And again, I love, and I know Moot Nekbet does too, a play on words, right? And we know that mystery happens during those witching hours,
Ooh.
Mhm.
right? We know the witching hours.
Mhm.
Happens there, those things that kind of run through the darkness, the shadows, and our ears are attuned to it,
Mm,
hearing and see like,
Mhm.
what can I pick up on as a student, as or sitting at the feet of wisdom?
Mhm.
How you apply that, right?
mhm.
So our witching hour, it don't have to be at 2 in the morning when an ancestor wake us up. Hour is life and now. And how can we create a safe space where we can reclaim that and we can live life joyfully and we can use that ancient wisdom in our real time every day
Every
of our
day.
lives and have
Yeah.
space and build community
Mhm.
around it. So that's how we got here. Right? And we got here because we all committed to saying yes.
Yes.
My heart wanted
Yes.
to say yes. So, and our ancestors put us here. This is
Yes.
purposeful.
Two.
Yeah.
It's a
Two.
part of our destinies. That's how we
Two.
get here.
Yeah.
Too. And then Harit Tamawasa, you brought up, that by us as individuals, as women coming together, we have that wisdom and that knowledge, right? And we have our teachers and our elders. But by us being devoted to our path and devoted to the cause, devoted to sitting down and listening and being in ritual
Yeah.
and embodying the Neteru, we are able to change ourselves and our lives. And we're also able to change and assist our families and
Mhm.
assist our communities. So it is so powerful and so wonderful to actually answer the call and listen to the call and be a great representation of it. So thank you for that. That was beautiful.
And shout
Yeah.
out, you Muhammadu, you said this, shout
Ooh.
out to our elder, right?
Mhm.
Our spiritual godmother
Mm-hmm.
who has opened a way for
Yes.
us, who have
Oof.
opened a way for so many who continue to come and being obedient in her walk so we could be obedient in ours, right?
Yours.
So shout
Absolutely.
out to our spiritual godmother and her elders and her
Yes.
lineage as we continue to be representations of those.
Too.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
we a community. We are a community.
We are a community. I don't know. I got a little. I'm emotional. Just like okay, I wasn't expecting them to feel that.
Mhm.
But I just think about like even just you saying in real time because your wisdom doesn't pause. Wisdom doesn't it doesn't hold. Okay, like you said, it's not just at 2 a.m. It's when you're driving. It's when you're cooking your food. It's when you're at the grocery store. It's when you're in the shower. It's when you're walking. It's as you're working, it's in every moment that devotion and that call, that answering the call is constantly working with you. And I saw something that said like witchcraft and it's not a power, it's an essence.
Mhm.
It is life itself. It's in everything around us. So it's like to know that we have all of these elements at our access and we are given the wisdom to create powerful communities, not just within ourselves, because we ourself is a community, but within our
Mhm.
family, our house, our home, then into our friends, then into our extended family, then into our wherever we are bringing that energy and that wisdom. So to be able to come together as women, which is very powerful too, because the world would make it seem like women would be put against each other still, even though there's women empowerment, it's still the impression that women can't get along. So to see women serving the same purpose, not just individually, but collectively, and
Mhm.
opening that space up, like it's supportive and it lets you know that you're not alone in the way that you want to work your magic and the way that you are creating your magic and the way that magic shows up and you be like am I
Yes.
tripping or did I see that like who can I because there was a time where you like I'm just gonna keep that to myself because I don't know if I tell somebody I'm like girl I don't know you need to pray or something
Mhm.
but now you have people around you that you can say oh my god guess what I saw today and you
Two.
can talk about that it keeps you grounded because so many people are walking with spiritual gifts and
Mhm.
don't know what those spiritual gifts are And if they had representation, right, to say you're not the only person that sees something beyond a veil or feels something or hears something, and this is a place where you can get that insight, to say, okay, so I'm not tripping. I did feel that, right?
Mhm.
And there are other people, because as much as the world is open, not everybody has access to everything.
That's true.
A lot of people don't have access to communities, even though there are many communities. So it's like you extending the olive branch and be like, come on over here. So I
Mhm.
just feel really grateful because it is a true testament, also, as you stated, to our elders' work to entrust such depths of wisdom, both intuitively and through personal study, and know that that wisdom is being cherished
Mhm.
and protected and shared with integrity.
Integrity, integrity.
Integrity.
Integrity, yes, yes, yes,
And we
absolutely.
think about integrity, right? And I think about what does that mean when we talk about creating a sacred space? Because we said we're creating a sacred space, and sacred means safe,
Ooh.
right? Sacred means intentional.
Mhm.
Sacred means being authentic, being our
Mm.
authentic selves. And sometimes authentic, y'all hear me when I say sometimes it's not always rainbows, unicorns, and glitter.
Understood.
Sure ain't.
Mhm.
Sometimes authentic is the ugly cry.
Mhm.
Sometimes
Mm.
authentic is the woo child when we talked about, right? Sometimes authentic is like, but what do I do now? What do I
Right.
Oh, what do I do now?
And sometimes I'll say this too, when we are going through, and we talk again, a sacred space, and we are going through feelings of understanding who we are,
Mm.
right? Because you have
Mhm.
to understand who you are to be able to embrace your gifts and
Mm.
resonate with your path, right? And path, I mean like your purpose in life, right? Because it's so much bigger.
Too.
But for us to get there, there's a certain level of acceptance and healing that we have to do individually to be able to create a community
Yes.
of healers or a community of healed people because it takes integrity to do so.
Mhm.
Take a moment to be able to do some deep self-reflection and be like, "All right, now, dang, you know what? That's a sore spot in me." And sometimes healing or leading healing can feel isolating, but once we drop our ego, once we drop that fear, we
Mhm.
understand that we are connected to not just someone else, but to us, to ourselves, our emotions,
Mm.
our own healing. It starts to feel less isolated, and then we can build a
Absolutely.
safe, sacred
Then you
community.
could have a real say, listen, when I tell you that is a whole word. And it's something that I am seeing as a theme for this week. Is like you have to tap into yourself in a way that is so uncomfortable
Yes.
in order for you to get to the truth of who you are.
Mhm.
So that way your gifts can really come through,
Mm.
because your gifts are waiting to reach their peak.
Mhm.
But sometimes you be in your own way, and that can be a hard thing to hear, because we always want to put the problem or the issue on someone else, on the situation, on what has happened to us. And it's not about those things. It's about you. What are you going to do?
Mhm.
Okay, that happened to you. So, but what are you going to do?
Mhm.
Like you said, so how do I do this? What do I do next?
Mhm.
When you really get there, because that's tough. It's tough to like, you know,
True.
it is me. I am the villain. And not even in a way that's negative, but you just are in your way. So when you are able to acknowledge that, then you can be gentle and say,
True.
okay, you know what? I did cause myself a little harm. Why did I do that to me?
What's Cardi's new album title? Am I the drama? I had to ask myself that the other day, like, is it me?
While she on trial right now.
Yes, and then have to know, you have to answer that, like, being real with yourself, you know what I'm saying? You have to be able to be real with yourself in order to be real with other people, and that's the truth, you know what I'm saying? Knowing that, "Okay, am I triggered by this? like she was saying, is it just me? Going deep inside yourself. And like we said, sometimes it might be feel isolating. You have to take the time out to get to know yourself and understand yourself before you can get to know and understand other people. And knowing that each experience is a lesson for you. Sometimes a person might trigger us and might be upset, but how are you going to take that in? Are you going to,
Go ahead.
mm,
Give it.
because listen, I was thinking about this last week or like even that maybe the week before. It's like, okay, and here I go to another
Go.
space.
Go.
But y'all know
'Cause
how
look,
like in spirituality, sometimes things are taken away for us from away from us in order to rebuild ourselves and rebuild that foundation. I was thinking, once things we feel like they're falling apart, but they're actually falling into place for us to better ourselves and to rebuild a healthier foundation. But it's like, how do you rebuild yourself when you feel like things are falling apart? Like, do you go back to your old ways and your old self and the old patterns and the old routines? Or do you get on your knees and pray to the Neteru and continue to have that faith? And that is sometimes like the test. Are you going to go back to your old ways? Are you ready for what you've been praying for what you've been asking for? Because truthfully, once you ask for something, once you pray for something, a test will show up. Are you ready? Are you ready to get down and dirty? Like, are you ready to get 10 toes down, 10 fingers down
10,
on your knees,
20,
head on the mat? Like, are
right?
you ready to
Full
like
body.
give it up? Like, give up that
Prostration.
old life? Are you ready to give up those old patterns or that old person you used to be or those people trust that you used to hang around? Trust and believe that you will be tested. So when you're asking for something, be ready for it. Be ready for it. Be in alignment with it when it shows up because you're going to be you're going to be triggered a lot. You might be that word, triggered.
So let's bring people into our conversation with our sacred space. So we said Neteru. Neteru is a Kemetic word
Mm-hmm.
that is equivalent to gods, right?
Mm-hmm.
In other cultures, Neteru may be seen as the word Orisha,
Mm-hmm.
Loao,
Mm-hmm.
saints,
Mm-hmm.
but it is the divinity, divine representation of God. And
Mm-hmm.
the Neteru, shout out to my Meduneta teacher. Because the teacher is a
Oh,
student, the student is a teacher, and we are
hey,
sisters,
come
right?
on. Right.
Netaru is the plural for nectar, God,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we all have, to your point, Muhadaru, we have those aspects within us and we see them on the outside of us, right? God
Yes.
is
Mm-hmm.
represented in all our life or all aspects of what we do in our life. And you
Mm-hmm.
said things are like taken away. Look, in the world, they may say sometimes you gotta slow down to speed up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
You gotta level
You
set.
gotta stoop.
Why do
You
I
gotta
feel like I
stoop.
need a veil to be like,
Yeah, ding ding. You gotta stoop to conquer, right? Sometimes you gotta level set to say,
yes.
listen, that all the other stuff you was doing, yeah, that was fun, but that's not where you are meant to be. We need you to have this experience. We talk about lived experience. Sometimes lived experience matches those other type of the education, those initiation, but you got to have that experience to be able to lead because you have to be able to say, look, I understand.
Too.
Understand.
I'm
I
Mm-hmm.
with you.
understand. Right. We right here.
We here. I'm
Mm.
with you. We're going alongside one another.
Absolutely.
Right.
Journey.
And to both of y'all's points, because I'm up here like, period, punto. Both of y'all points, Muheru Bhaktiba, understanding, because I remember whenever I would go to a Raseki retreat, when I would come home,
Oh,
everything, I'd be like,
too.
what the crap? And it wasn't until I was like, oh, the energy is shifting. And here
Mm.
is the thing, to your point also of saying, when you ask for something, be ready for it. You have to realize that when you are asking for change in your life, it requires for you to sacrifice the parts of you that will hold you back, which starts to shatter the reality of who you think you are. And that's the discomfort, because you are being challenged to remove a false layer of self so you can see your true self. But because you are accustomed to the lie feels like, but but no, this is how I am. No, it's not. This is not how you are. I'm trying to show you how you are, but it's not gentle. It's not, okay, baby, let me sit you down and let's have a conversation. It's a rip the carpet from underneath your feet. You're going to fall and you might bump your head and wake up, be like, how did I get down here? But when you get up, you're going to look at the room and with a new lens, because now that you have space, you can fill it in,
Mhm.
right? And when you talk about understanding divinity and
Mm.
how divinity plays in your role, and we call it the Netteru, Netter, it's divine essence, right? In the many ways that the spirit shows up as a representation. Everything in nature has a purpose. A bee is a pollinator,
Ooh.
right? The flower is there to provide the pollen, right? Everything plays a role and everything has a season. So when the flowers close, the bees go in hibernation,
Mhm.
right? So when you think about what's happening in your life when it starts to crumble, stop, take a breath, and say, oh, my season is getting ready to change.
Mhm.
My season is getting ready to change. I am leveling.
I'm leveling
Okay.
up.
I'm leveling up.
I'm leveling up. It's like that's when you talking about me being a teacher. When I was teaching Raseki before, and I was saying is we are so accustomed to being reactionary when
Mm.
we should be able to respond. Bonds able,
Mhm.
right? So when things are going on in your life, take a breath. Take a breath.
Yeah.
Step back. Assess the situation. Assess yourself. Don't be so quick to move because that's survival. That's
Yes.
indoctrinated survival mode. Oh, I gotta hurry up and
Mhm.
scurry and oh my God. No. Sit down, take a breath. Again, I'm gonna keep saying it. Take a breath. Ask spirit, what are you trying to show me? What do I need to see?
Mhm.
Because something is changing in my life and I want to be ready for that change so I do not miss my blessing.
Mhm.
And that's hard because only it's not hard, but it appears to be hard because people don't teach you to practice patience
So
and faith in that way.
Mhm.
Let's think about how that shows up on the outside of us, right? Because the world continues to evolve. We know that without evolution comes stagnation, and we
Like
know
no comment.
other end of stagnation, right? So as we continue to evolve, the world continues to evolve. We see that evolution on the outside of
Ooh.
us through seasonal change. When it is time, as we are now exiting summer and going into fall, what happens? Have to go to incubate. There are things that we have to let go. The leaves begin to
Yes,
fall
I
off, right?
believe.
Oh yeah, put your lighters in, put your fires up. But yet, you the leaves begin to shed. That tree no long those leaves serve that purpose for that tree.
Oh.
And now it's time for that tree to shed those leaves, let them fall. You don't see trees trying to hold on to
Mm.
those leaves.
Oh,
They
oh,
regularly
oh,
let them
okay.
go. They easily let them go. And
Mhm.
then you start to see things kind of go internal. The grass begins to kind of subdue itself and may not be as vibrant and may not
Mhm.
grow as wild, right? It starts to hibernate. And that is a point of self-reflection. That is a time where we need to say, look, hey, I've been living it up. My leaves been growing. They've been blossoming. I got green. I might even have a bud of the flower, right?
Right.
And then there's a time where we need to reflect
Mhm.
and just relax and just hibernate
Mm.
to do some personal reflection to say, where am I at
Ooh,
and where am I to be?
to
Right. And that's that liminal space where it's like, I'm not there yet, but I'm not where I was. And I'm
Mhm.
not quite where I'm supposed to be, but I'm present in the moment
Mm.
and reflective about what I need to do to
Mhm.
get to where I'm supposed to be, where I
Mhm.
see myself being, where I feel myself wanting to be.
Mm.
A
But
time
we
to
see
scale
that
your progress.
yes, but we see that in trees. So who are we? Or we see that in nature. So who are
Mhm.
we
Right.
to say that we are above that, that we don't have to stop and take a pause and let go of things and not fight to say, but no, it's still mine. No, just let it go and be
Mhm.
comfortable with that. Be
Mhm.
comfortable with that.
And it's so and I'm thinking about, like, when the leaves fall off the tree, it's like when in the summertime and in the springtime, we have the leaves providing that shade for us and that comfort for us. But, like, once it's equinox time, those leaves fall off the tree, it's like, okay, reminds me of being vulnerable for being bare, you know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And, like, expressing your emotions because your emotions is out. What have you been going through? And a lot of times, like society today, like both of y'all spoke about, we're so busy moving, moving, moving. And it's like, how do you hear spirit? How do you feel spirit? If you're so busy doing everything, how are
Mhm.
you receiving those uploads, downloads from the ancestors and from the next root? Like,
Mhm.
how are you receiving that? So those leaves falling off the tree definitely remind me of like being vulnerable, being bare, and then this is a time, like you said, to go deep within and commune with yourself, being with yourself, loving on yourself, hugging on yourself. And then also tapping into other people once you give yourself that love and that space, providing that nurturing and caring for other people. Cause I like see like everybody hugging everybody, coming in together. Like it's a season that we're entering where it's cold and everybody is in. So it might be a little triggering for other people that aren't used to like being by themselves and
True.
being in a space by themselves. So giving yourself that love and care and not being so busy and being able to hold sacred space for other people too, as well as yourself, but other people too. So
Yeah.
either your sister, your brothers, children, everybody out there needs that high vibrational love. So getting yourself together so you can walk in full alignment in your purpose
Yeah.
so that you can go serve someone else because it's somebody out there for you to serve. It's
Yeah.
somebody out there that look like you, that resonate with you. Like we always say, everybody got their own crowd. Everybody has their own group of people that they are to serve. So once you serve you got to serve yourself first though. You got to give yourself that
Yes, you
love,
do.
and then you're able to go out and just hug on everybody.
Yes, you do.
Man, yes.
I love that mention of the bare trees, right? Because even when the spring is coming and they're filling in, you can't look straight through. You can't
Mhm.
see what's in. There's like a guard there, and when the leaves are fully in bloom, you can't look through the forest. But when they're bare, you can see straight through what's hiding behind a tree. Like there's nothing hidden, right? I appreciate that realization or that example because to your point, people do need you. And a lot of us are something for someone.
Too.
That's true.
A lot of us are something for someone. And it doesn't, even if you are not a spiritual person, in a sense, everybody has a role in somebody's life, a caregiver, whatever. Everybody has a role in what it looks like to take the time. And I know that it's challenging and you can feel guilty for stepping away and saying, I need to pour into my cup real quick so
Yes.
that way I can come and give you a little bit of a sip, right? I can pour into you because my trees are bare and I'm vulnerable,
Mm.
right? And I'm a little too exposed. So let me go into my forest and nurture the barren, whatever, the openness there. So when I come back, okay, now I can give you from the ground and I can give you from the root, right? Cause that's pretty much what's happening. Now it's like, I can't remember what brother was talking about this, but he was talking about a tree grows two ways.
Mm.
It grows up and it grows down because the roots, right? So seasonally, when the spring is happening, the fall, the summer, the tree is growing up and the fall and the winter is growing down, right? Getting nurturing, bringing in nutrients from the soil. So this is the time that you tend to your roots. So when you start to blossom, people can pick your fruit.
Too. Roots before branches.
Before roots before branches.
Love it. Roots before branches. I
Roots before branches.
Too,
Yes.
and give people the time and space that they need. If they need the
Yes.
time and space to themselves, please be able to give them that and hold space for them as well. If they haven't texted you back in time, like you feel like they should have been texting back, just give them that space to respond because you never know what that person is going through. And my friends and
And
I, we
ask.
too, and we used to have we have a group text to where we asked each other, like, "Are you available? Do you have the capacity to hold space for me at this time?"
Mm.
Before we go in and start, like, venting or whatever, "Do you have the capacity to hold space for
Mm.
me at this time?" You know, because they might not have it. You don't know what they're going there's some things that they might not express to you that they wanna hold to themselves, and it is okay. So just be mindful. Other people do need that time and space to themselves. If they haven't responded to you, give them that grace and give yourself some grace
Mhm.
too as well.
Check your entitlement.
Yes. Ooh.
Okay, let me see. What am I brewing on? Root before branches.
Roots before branches, that's a bar.
Check your entitlement.
Check your entitlement.
Mhm.
Wow. And like, just and we talked about this, right? Like in the very beginning about the intention of being able to be present, right? And part of being present is being able to have your roots before your branches, right? Because it's understanding like what do I need, or again, because y'all know Moot, Heteru, you talked about like, and Moot Nectar too. You all both talked about something to someone else,
Mm.
right? But what is it that I need to be able to be present for someone else? So I'm gonna ride with that.
Mm.
Roots before branches.
Roots before
And
branches.
check entitlement
Mm.
because that is a part of, again, keeping that integrity and good things for mindfulness practices or good
Mhm.
things to just be able to be reflective in your
Mhm.
vulnerability when your limbs are bare.
Ooh.
When your limbs are bare,
They're not barren. We are
they're
bare
just
and
bare.
vulnerable
Ooh.
for a reason.
Exposed. Yep.
Mm.
For a reason, we need that type of vulnerability to be
Mhm.
able to grow and
Mhm.
blossom to be our highest and our best self, to be
Mm.
Ooh.
the people we envision ourselves to be.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
gonna take that with me.
Yep.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's there's something that my mom and I do, and we'll call each other, and she'll ask me, "You got a minute?" Juniper in the back.
Hey,
Oop.
Pamela.
It's like wherever you are, there I will be.
Mhm.
So my mom and I, we started to do that to say, "Do you have a minute?"
Too.
And I got something that I want to share, and then we'll say, "Would you like for me to participate, or do you just need me to listen?"
Mm,
And that changes the conversation because
Exactly.
I might then that makes me stop and be like, "No, I just need you to listen right now." "Okay, I'll just listen." "No, I actually need advice." "Okay, I'll participate." And you actually let that person get it all out, and then you come in because this goes both ways, right? For those of us that are givers, naturally,
Yeah.
we want to always help a person and give that advice, but sometimes people are not asking for that.
true.
Sometimes people are just needing a soundboard, they need to get it out, or sometimes people just need to just fill in space.
Mhm.
And that's not always a call for us to step in and be like, "You know what you should do?" Just be like, "Okay, you got it."
Mhm.
So that also helps too, because everything in balance, like that integrity is balance too, and how you pour into yourself, how you show up for your roots and you show up for your branches, and how you also learn that while your branches are bare, that means you draw back. You don't do no action. You are resting. You are in rest.
Rest. And rest is okay.
Mhm.
Rest is okay.
Rest is restorative. Rest is a restorative practice.
Rest is a radical practice.
It's in my brain. Rest is a radical practice of restoration,
Yes, it
Ooh.
is.
right? It's okay.
Them 2 on
It's
the
okay.
wordplay, they be going.
And it's okay. And for so long, I know sometimes I was like raised to be like present, but to achieve, like to meet expectations. Expectations were clear for me. Shout out to my mother, Dan Kayeni.
Dan Kayane.
Give an honor and memory to my mother.
Mhm.
She was a disciplinarian, but I also felt her love,
Yes.
right? And she had expectations. Okay. So I always lived my life to say, okay, if these are the expectations, these are how I am going to meet these expectations because I can do difficult things. I can do things to meet a goal. And in the world, they tell you you have to be high achieving, you have to work 60 hours a week, 80 hours a week,
Mhm.
and that rest is not restorative. Rest is seen as lazy, or
True.
that spirituality is seen as radical, and that when you are a person who walks with a certain level of integrity in our culture is never bit, right?
Mhm.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that those things look different,
It's
and it makes you like kind of an outcast when it's like, no, I'm healing and I am fully present for myself and others. I can do difficult things, but I also need to be able to restore myself and be
Yes.
able to reflect and be able to take care of my roots so I can take care of
Yes.
these branches, right?
I need
Yes.
I
Grow.
need to be able to tell you no and not feel pressured or bad about it.
No, because
Ooh.
my mother would say,
Mhm.
"No" is a full sentence.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, Muhetaru, and Mutnek better say period.
Punto. Two letters, one syllable. Oh,
And it doesn't need no explanation behind it either. Like you say, it's a complete sentence.
right
Tell me
there.
no. I don't
There
need
is
to explain.
Oh my God, this is so full because let's just talk about this all together. Talking about what you sipping on, like what's in your brew, what you brewing, what's in your cup.
Mm,
What do you have in your cup? And it's important to realize that we are a dualistic people. We are honoring spirit, but we are also still living in a world, a particular side of the world that has set it up that you do not have time for yourself.
Oh.
You do not have time to stay connected to your body. You barely have time to rest, right? Which is vital for your soul, your mind, and your body,
Mhm.
right? So, like you said earlier, Muhadaru, how can you listen? When do you have time when you hustling, bustling? And that is the culture that applauds you.
Mhm.
They applaud you for being exhausted and working hard, right? And Harit time watch, see, I take that. I can do difficult things,
Ooh.
including say no.
include and say no. Here we go. Wait, here we go. Here we go. I can do beautiful things, including
Including say no.
Ooh.
I can do difficult things and say I do not have the capacity and I don't know when I'm going to.
Ooh. And just knowing, like, if you continue to spirit gonna sit you down. They gonna sit you down, and it
And
ain't
you
gonna be
don't
the
want
type of
that.
sit down that you want. I mean, it comes with being sick, the disease that's inside of the body. The mission might just be just to be still. You know what I'm saying? Be still. Since spirit come right in, and you don't got no choice but to sit down and be still. And you like, oh, I got to do this. Oh, that's not the mission right now. It's not the mission right now. So,
Not the mission right
giving
now.
thanks, and then that brings you into the emotional issues turning physical within our body. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
we're too busy connected to, like, maybe like our finances and working, and then like even our families sometimes, and then it's like we're feeling dang. Y'all know how I go. It brings us into like spiritual protection. Like, it brings us into a
yes.
lot because we're embodying so much in the world, taking on
Mhm.
so many different responsibilities, taking on all of those energies,
Mhm.
and making sure that we cleanse ourselves, you know what I'm saying, before we even
Mhm.
go on to the next thing. You just never know.
I'm going to give a charge to those our listeners to I'm going to challenge you to say no. I'm going to challenge you to say no. Everybody has that one person they cannot say no to. I'm going to challenge you to say no
To say no and be okay.
as your first spiritual protection.
And as we are looking into, again, because we talked about outside, inside, as above, so below,
Mm.
and we enter into this new season. Some of us may be entering a new season of life. The earth is entering into a new season. What are we taking? Like, what's the message
Mm.
that we're taking into this new season? And what
Mm.
are we, Nekbet gave y'all, our family now, because we family now, right? You are a part of our sacred journey, right? The sacred space we are creating. Munekbet left us with a charge to say we are saying no. But what else are we taking into this season?
Two, two.
Muhedru, what are we taking into
So
this
we
season?
are taking two, yes, and Duau Harit Tamawasi for being who you are, and Moot Nekbet for being who you are. Like, this man, like, We love each other so much. Like, I love y'all.
Oh wait, how you do it? I can't even do the thing.
Oh, yeah, how does she do it?
I can't even remember. I'm gonna keep it at 80s, baby. Okay.
What we are bringing into the next season, I did pull a oracle deck from the Faces of Oshun. And what we're bringing into the season is Oshun of the Dusk, cycles,
Mm.
transitioning, and transformation. So y'all see that. So on that card, look at the card, take in the image. We are bringing in new seasons, new transformation. So we have the hourglass. The hourglass is a teacher for us. Time is a teacher, and every cycle runs its course. And nothing is permanent. That is what this card is teaching us. Nothing is permanent. The book has knowledge and wisdom. She's holding a book. The moon represents reflections and transitions, ending of cycles. And even just thinking about the powerful number 44, that is a master number, foundation and stability. So we're entering a season, and I'm just really feeling it. Like we're entering a season where it's time to move into the old, into the new, right? It just reminds me of like our stories is already written, but it's time for us to write a new story. So if you're and just being a master, you are at master level of everything. You have the knowledge, you have the wisdom, you have everything that you need. You don't need to take another class, you don't need to buy another book. You need to bring everything that you have learned from every past season and bring it all to into one and share it with other people. So no, you don't need another class. No, just take everything that from all the classes, from all the experiences and the lessons that you learned, and cultivating that into a new life. So letting go of everything that is old, stepping into a new person, like a new individual, and creating that. So rewriting the next season of your life. That and everything that we said today really like summed up this card. Closure, putting closure to that ending cycle. It's time for newness, and you are the master. You the master, man.
Who's the master? I am.
Yes, and believe it in yourself, because at the end of the day, like sometimes we don't even believe that we have that power. Listening to our intuition, like what is this spirit nudging you to do in the next season of your life, and knowing that you have the power, and knowing that you are fully capable, and knowing that you have all the elements. You have the elements of your ancestors. You have the Netaru. You have everybody. You have everything that you need to cultivate the next season of your life. So go ahead and write that next chapter in your book. Yeah. Write the next chapter. What does that look like? What does that feel like? What does that look like? And what does that feel like for you? That essence. I'm looking at this card, and as she
I
has
was gonna say,
that
what's the, put it
moon,
back up. What's the name of it again?
Oshun of the Dusk. Look
Mm,
how
I love
beautiful,
her.
though. Like,
that is beautiful.
radiant.
I like her fullness.
I like her fullness too, honey.
Resonating with
I
that.
like I like that abundance,
She
honey.
I
Yes.
embodied
love
it.
that embodiment.
Right. Literally.
Yes.
Yes, a full embodiment of it, and proud. Yes, that's like be proud. You know what I'm
Of the
saying? Be
abundant, the fullness.
grateful. You know what I'm saying? That's deep. Be proud and be grateful for all the lessons that you have learned and you have conquered. You have overcame. Okay,
Yes.
you have seen it through. You were 10 toes down because it wasn't easy. You got through
Mhm,
it, and it's time to take that time for yourself and create a new cycle for
mhm.
yourself and for your life. Absolutely. That's
Mm.
beautiful. Beautiful and juicy.
Okay, Moot Heteru Batiba. I believe, like, because I felt that juiciness. We're gonna go back to this tree analogy, right? Roots before branches. And the fullness of Oshun represented on that card.
Mhm.
Think about the stability. When you grounded
Woo!
and you have, like you said, everything that you need, but her body just says, I'm stable. You
Mhm.
said 10 toes down, like, stable in that joy and stable in reconnecting and being able to flow through that
Right.
transition.
Stable in the
Yeah.
flow of life. Like,
Yeah.
stable in the river because she's standing in that water. Ooh,
And
stable in
she
her
is completely
emotions.
open. Her body is completely open. Her chest is out. Her head is up.
Mm.
Humility.
She got her tools in her hand. She's smiling. She looks graceful. She said, "Honey, it's all I am it. It is me."
Mhm.
Yeah. As we take that
Ooh.
message that you gave us Muheteru, like a part of like creating a sacred space. Y'all, we are creating a sacred space for one another, but we said this is the witch hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
Means that we are dropping sacred knowledge and jewels
Mm-hmm.
in real time in a
Absolutely.
sacred
Mm-hmm.
space. So you can always expect to hear some type of ritual, magic, little whisper and secret that we just gonna give you like we have our good girlfriend conversations.
You getting the juice.
You getting the you getting the tea, you get it
You're
what
getting the brew.
you brew. There we go, right? So, you can always expect these things to help because again, a part of community and sacred community is being able to take the wisdom that we learn from one another and apply it to life. So that is
Mhm.
the difference between knowledge and wisdom is the critical application of it. So
Critical application.
Muheteru Bhakti Ba just dropped us with a oracle message. And y'all heard me say Moot Nekbet, shout out to my Medu Netter teacher, can
Mhm.
give us some information on because again, what kind of like makes us a little different is, we are Kemetic priestesses,
Mhm.
initiated Kemetic priestesses. And when you hear me say we're multilingual, we speak the Queen's English, but we also speak our ancestral language,
Mhm.
which is Medunetter, the words of God. And so you
Mhm.
can always expect to get those jewels as well.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Too. So in the words of our eldress and our teacher, Jed Medu, speak the word, right? And we
Mhm.
have to realize that magic is not just about the elements that you gather, it's also the elements that you have naturally, which is your voice, right? The words that you say and the way that you say them and the way that you think. Those are your first elements of magic is how you speak to yourself, to the world around you, and how you let other people speak to you too. So when Harit Time Watch, she says the words of God, Meduneter, these words are meant to be high vibrational. They are meant to change the algorithm of your thinking, the algorithm of your body. And so today's phrase in alignment with the energy that change is inevitable
Yes.
and hardships come through change, but we are able and capable of doing difficult
Mm,
things
mm,
in the midst of change. Our phrase is going to be Em Hotep Nefer Keper Ur.
mm.
Imhotep Nefer Keper Ur.
Yamatep Nefer Keper Or.
To
And that means you could say, I come in peace. I got two because now my brain just went somewhere. I got two. So it says, I come in peace of the beautiful change. I come in peace of beautiful change, right? I come in peace of beautiful change. And you can say, oh, I just drew a blank. This is that Men in Black. Okay, I got you. Iwi Imhotep Nefer Keper Ur. Iwi Imhotep Nefer
Pepper
Keper Ur,
to
which means I welcome in peace the beautiful change. I welcome in peace. So not only do I show up in the beautiful change, I also welcome it.
I think about, y'all know I got somebody granny. It might be my granny.
to
My granny living in my veins that when we have these messages and the mantras, the language, how do we manifest that in our physical space? Taking those wisdoms, that ancient knowledge, and applying it and having it meet us where we are. If we want to take that information and brew us a cup of coffee, you take those coffee grounds and you let them steep longer in water. You get you a mason jar, you let it steep and you let that coffee brew just for a little bit longer. And then what you could do is you take that brewed coffee that you let steep for like 2, 3 days and you pour you a bath, add it to your bath water because coffee, although it is good to taste and drink, right? It's also good for cleansing, purification, protection. So as we welcome in change, there are things that we just want to naturally let our body go and flow. So if you are one to like spiritual baths, add a little extra to your application, right? Take a spiritual bath in coffee. And it doesn't have to be all coffee. I'm not saying go out and put your whole tub, whatever coffee
Oh,
of your choice, okay? And put it in your tub. But just from the coffee that you may have drank earlier that day.
mhm.
And you use those rounds and you put a cup in your bath water and you see yourself, envision yourself. You use that mantra, you use that that message that Muhadaru Bhakti Ba gave us, and you see yourself being cleansed and protected in your healing. And if you want to sweeten it up and you want to welcome that transformation in a peaceful way,
Yes.
right? Add a little bit of honey in honor of Hetaru Oshun. Add a little bit of honey to sweeten that transition so you can walk
Mhm.
into that new season of life
Yes.
or this new season of life with sweetness, with
Yes.
protection, and with
Ooh.
confidence. So that's
Amen.
leaving y'all with, right? We say, when that's all good, we say, shy.
Shy.
Yes, this has been a very beautiful, full conversation. I am so grateful that not only we, but you
Mm.
grabbed your cup so we can sip this brew and speak truth. Okay. And we look forward to sharing more. Thank you for listening on our first episode. We will continue to prepare the things and come in our authenticity bag, but
Yes.
also in our magical bag and drop
And
those beautiful gems that we need to be stabilized as the world changes.
as the world continues to evolve, so do
Mhm.
as we have just sipped the brew, we stay here. We had a conversation of truth. I want to invite you to stay along this journey with us.
Yes.
And as we keep going, you keep going with us, and this
Mhm.
continues.
Mhm.
And as we end our session, we always say Shemimatep, which means go in peace.
To Shemimotep.
Shemimotep.